that's what we do here in New Orleans, and like to let the folks know that everything's gonna be all right in the end. You know, we got a little bit of a snag, but you know, folks have had to deal with far worse than this.
Talk to me about the pronunciation of New Orleans.
Well, if it's inside of a song, it almost always has to be New Orleans, because that has more places it can rhyme. You know, mean, greens, and scene. But a lot of times we say New Orleans. You know, some people say New Orleans, some people say New Orleans. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not. So either way, it's all good though. However you pronounce it when you're down here, you know, and that's the great thing about New Orleans. And we always say that that's why jazz was birthed in New Orleans. It's a survival city. The folks down here know how to make things happen, and you know, that's what we're gonna keep doing.
What are your favorite music venues in NOLA and your favorite restaurants?
Of course, Snug Harbor was the staple of the listening room in New Orleans, and that's the place that you went to really to check the music out. But you know, there's other great places. Other than that, you know, most places are connected to a bar, and it's more a place where you hang out and you have music also going. But you know, we had a place called the Prime Example, and that was always good, because you know, that's kind of that's you know, one of the old time joints. You don't have a lot of places like that to play in you know, in the neighborhood. So I always like playing that because there's a way different energy. It's way different energy. As far as places to eat, they got a great place called the Heard Dat Kitchen, and their food is really killing. Barrows, they're famous for catfish. Those are the main two coming to mind now. But you know, so many, you can't go wrong with restaurants and food here in New Orleans.
That's very true. That's the one thing I miss. Well, one of the two main things I miss the most is the food. You just can't beat it. Can't beat it. Nowhere.
Of course, it's always centered on Dizzy Gillespie, one of the great, not really founder, but whoever comes right after the founders of the music. But he was, of course, closely associated with Charlie Parker, and this being the 100th anniversary of the birth of Charlie Parker, August 29th of 1920, we're going to play some Charlie Parker music, as well as some Dizzy Gillespie music. And, you know, the fact that Dizzy recorded Sunny Side of the Street is always interesting to us. You know, that's one of the staples of what we would consider the New Orleans repertoire. So we're going to probably play, you know, so different aspects of Dizzy Gillespie's music, something like Tentendeo, and then Sunny Side of the Street, Sure Enough. Of course, Charlie Parker's music, a lot of blueses. And that's what we love to play down here, a lot of blueses. So it's going to be a lot of blues and something soulful, something groovy.
She's writing in saying, can you please play Sesame Street?
Well, we could play Sesame Street. It's not really in the theme. If it's cool with y'all, I mean, well, yeah. I guess Dizzy was on Sesame Street at some point. So maybe that was the Muppets. He was on the Muppets, actually. I'll think about that. Yeah, we certainly could do that. Maybe we'll do a short version of that. So we haven't really finalized the repertoire. So we'll try to include Sesame Street. We'll do that. Even playing A Night in Tunisia, man, I think everybody always plays that. You think we should play that one?
I just like the way you play it.
Oh, oh brother, thank you so much. Yeah, we had debated playing Night in Tunisia, but then we thought, yeah, maybe we'll play A Night in Tunisia.
Okay, or if it's A Night in Tunisia, then something with a nice flair to it, like, you know, a Latin flair.
Okay, yeah, we were looking at Manteca.
Okay, that'll work. It might be like the shoulders.
Yeah, we were looking at that. But you know, I mean, I love Night in Tunisia. You know, it's kind of one of those songs. It's a song like Take the A Train.
Yeah, yeah.
And at a certain point, you say, man, but should we play Take the A Train? You know, I remember going to a school, and these were kind of what you consider advanced music students. Mm-hmm. And they were playing this, what you consider modern music. But to me, it wasn't anything that would be very enjoyable for an audience.
Okay.
If you're a musician, you hear it in this, you know, it's odd metered and it's minor keyed. And I remember telling this group, I said, man, I want you to do, just as a favor to me. I asked him, I said, what is your most modern song? And they said it was this particular song. And I said, after you play that song, the next concert that you play, not for your peers or for your family, but for a paying audience, play that song. And then immediately after that, play Take the A Train.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see, boy, they were side-eyeing. They were looking at each other. And it was like the nerve of him to ask us to play something as simple as Take the A Train, which is almost beneath what we can do. And I just let it go at that. But just saying that to say, how great can you be if you can't make Take the A Train sound great?
Yeah, that's my point.
Yes. You look at the example of somebody like Louis Armstrong, man, he made everything turn to gold. So having said that, before this call, we were not going to play A Night in Tunisia. We are definitely going to play A Night in Tunisia. So I appreciate that request.
Do with it what you do with it, baby. That's what I'm saying. Everybody can bake a cake, but how well is that cake gonna be baked? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Put your frosting on it, boo.
No, down here in New Orleans, man, we appreciate it. We happy with whatever it is. Even, when the Saints, it's like a thing with the older guys. They never wanted to play When the Saints because that's what everybody always requests. Man, you have to, you have to be able to do it and make it like it's the first time.
Yep.
So, all right, we got it. Street,
all right.
Night in Tunisia. And
all right.
I appreciate that.
I'm a happy woman.
Yes, ma'am. It's all exciting.
True.
This Dizzy Gillespie concert, that's exciting for us to have an opportunity to play. We started a new nonprofit, Keep New Orleans Music Alive, and we've been assisting a lot of the native culture bearers. So that's always, it's exciting really just to meet a lot of you, especially your Black masking Indians and folks have been in the business for 40, 50 years and just really, really soulful. So we're glad that we started this nonprofit. We have over 620 applicants, folks that need assistance. And, we're working with them. It started off as a financial venture where we would provide grants. And now it's moving on to where we're going to assist them with their health services and things that's going to keep them around. So, that's exciting. Of course, the Uptown Jazz Orchestra, we have a Halloween gig that we're doing. The Halloween Bash is on October 30th. And that'll be live on Facebook for Penn State University. So always great to get the band together. And that's always a special moment. Herlin Riley's going to join us. Of course, the fabulous Tanya Boyd Cannon is going to be vocalizing. And we're going to get the guys together. We just did a session with Branford. He composed the music for the Netflix movie about Ma Rainey. And that was the last film of the great Chadwick Boseman. He starred in that. Wow. Before we knew that he was ill, obviously. But so that'll be coming out. And we just did a kind of a promo. And it's always interesting working with the older brothers. And, it's a different dynamic. And, but it's good for the New Orleans guys to get that experience, So I think that was really great for us. It's just another level of intensity, and which doesn't bother me. I grew up with it. I'm happy with it. But a lot of times musicians are not used to that type of intensity. It's like, hey man, we're all getting along. Everybody's happy. But it's like, Bradford's hardcore. He's just like, just like I guess my dad was. When we all got kind of that edge when it comes to really trying to make the music right. And this was challenging because it's music of the 1930s. So it has a different sound. And typically it's good to learn the older style. Me personally, I never want to imitate that style or that sound, but it's important to know just from the standpoint of scholarship, to know. And there's things that you like the way that they used the vibrato, the way that they used the melodic line was different then, and the way that the songs are structured. So I've been listening to a lot of Kid Ory lately, and who's a person that I never really Kid Ory I was not a big Kid Ory fan. And I think that's because it was more the older 1920s, 1930s. And for me, I couldn't really hear with the kind of veracity that I like. Whatever that word is, that means a certain kind of an edge.
Right, right.
But Branford sent me one called King of the Tailgate Trombone. And I think this was recorded in the 50s or the 60s. And man, he's just killing. Like, he's really killing. And it's so, for me, that's what I needed. And a lot of times that's what you need the proper examples. It's not enough to just say, oh, well, you need to learn this because. But that Kid Ory resonated with me. And man, these guys are serious. You know this version of Charlie Parker playing Tiger Rag with Dizzy Gillespie?
No, really?
Don't know that? You never heard that?
Parker play it.
Huh?
I never heard Charlie Parker play it. I know the tune.
It's Dizzy and Bird. You can look it up playing Tiger Rag. And it's like, it's really sick. It's sick. But what I didn't know was that there was a competition between a New Orleans style band and Bird and Diz. Barry Ulanoff was the promoter, and he put this together. And they said that Bird and Diz won the competition. But if you hear that, man, those New Orleans guys was serious. They were like taking care of business. A lot of times with jazz, we think about it, okay, you got the old guys and they did that old stuff. Then the new guys came in and they did the new stuff. So, the bebop guys were there. And then once the music moved to this other direction, post-bop, then the bebop stuff was old. And then once it moved from post-bop to the modern sound, like Coltrane, then everything else was old. But it's not that at all. I mean, these folks was playing and it was serious. And they had a sound that resonated. And but the thing is, if you can find that Dizzy Gillespie, Charlie Parker playing Tiger Rag, I don't remember the band that they were in competition with. But if you hear that New Orleans band, and this is what I'm saying about Kid Ory, when you hear what they're playing, King of the Tailgate Trombone, I mean, man, it's in other words, it's what you would consider an older style, but it's being played correct. They're not playing that music like they were playing it in the 30s.
Yeah.
They're playing it with the influence of bebop and with the influence of post-bop and with that modern, all this influence. Even, Louis Armstrong, you listen to how he's playing in the 60s, it's not at all like when he was playing in the 30s or the 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the important part, is to try to not that he had to learn bebop, not like, okay, now all of a sudden, man, Louis Armstrong, you got to play bebop. But he knew that bebop existed and those musicians inspired him. So anyway, saying all that to say, that's what we're trying to take inspiration from everywhere. Anywhere we can find whoever's out there playing, we want to be hit with the here and the now. I'm sorry, was that a question? Did I answer? I'm just rambling on, man. My bad.
You done did it. Yeah, I caught you on Facebook Live, and you were playing some of that Kid Ory off of that record. And there's one particular solo passage he was playing, and it was literally 3 notes that he kept repeating. But the way
flat. Yeah, but the interesting thing, and I'm doing something with Javon Jackson for his school. I think it's Rutgers. Is it Rutgers? It's the school in Connecticut. No, it's Hart School. Maybe it's the Hart School. At any rate, I'm doing a class with Javon Jackson. I think that's not till next year. But what I'm going to do, it's music students as well as non-music majors. But I'm going to play some Kid Ory and I'm going to play some JJ and ask the non-music majors to comment and ask the music majors to comment. Because, audiences, they appraise music differently. I so seldom ask musicians about music. I'm always asking audience members because that's, to me, really kind of what's important. Come on, man. Can you control it?
Right.
I'm not even going to go for the obvious joke, but I'll let it go.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, that Kid Ory, man, that stuff was serious. That, And so that, you know, that's it. Trying to inspire the youngsters to really, you know, not have that feeling of, oh man, this old stuff. It's like, it's a reason. It's, you know, when I was studying the classical tradition, it was never like, Bach, man, who wants to deal with that old stuff?
Right.
We got to get Stravinsky and Penderecki.
Right.
You know, so it's again, not to, and so I think it's important for folks who have repertory bands. If that's what you like, you want to just play in that style, man. I think that's fine. Me personally, though, that's not my deal. It is, yeah. Somebody asked me if the bank was open. How many solos you get on your set?
As many as I want. You know, when it's not my show, you don't get that many. But when it's mine, I can take as many as I want to.
Yeah, you're right. We got a kind of a bass thing. It's almost like a Marsalis and bass thing. It's like bass players who almost never get solos, man.
Right.
The guy playing with me, I pointed him the solo, and he was like, "Man, don't even do it. If I'm only gonna get one solo in 6 months, don't even. You know, I need some heads up on it."
Right. I feel like that sometimes, but I don't mind taking one every now and then. If it's every 6 months, that's good money for me. I'll take that.
Yeah, that's cool. So y'all are Wednesday night, huh? What are y'all gonna play?
Yes. Wednesday night, we're gonna do a little bit of everything. I'm a Marcus Miller fan. We're gonna do some Marcus Miller tunes. Definitely do some Dizzy Gillespie, little Herbie Hancock. So I'm kind of jump around, do everything. A little bit of I love the traditional jazz stuff. I love the fusion stuff. Might do a little bit of R&B if we, you know, feel the urge. Definitely gonna do some Jaco Pastorius. So I'm excited.
Okay, man. Okay, that's a lot to fit in that hour, but
yeah. Especially if we get too happy.
Yeah, but you know, and that's how my band is, man. An hour, we just warming up. Let's play for a couple of hours.
And the guys we've been playing for a long time. That hour goes by really, really quick. Like, man, we only played 3 songs.
Right. I'm gonna have to limit my talking. A lot of times I talk during the gig. I'm gonna just limit it. So okay, we're gonna just get to the music. But yeah, that's a good collection. You know, Marcus Miller, man, really serious, man. Really it is. I played a jam session with him, and this was years ago. Man, this was the 90s, and we were in Nice, France. And this cat's on electric bass. I'm like, man, who is this? And he was just walking on like rhythm changes, and I was like, man, what is? Because I had never met him before then. And then it's Marcus Miller. I was like, now it makes sense.
I'm a big fan. I'm such a big fan. He's the only one I haven't seen. I've seen like Victor Wooten and I've seen Stanley Clark. Marcus Miller's the only one. I feel like the Trinity. I feel like he's the only one I haven't seen yet live. So I gotta make that happen.
What about George Porter?
I've seen him. Who else have I seen? I've actually seen Ron Carter play live too. And that was in New Orleans when I went down. I've seen him play. So yeah, I'm trying to see everybody.
Yeah, that's killing, bro. Well, certainly good luck on your set. And you know, I know y'all gonna handle the business. Good to meet you. And hopefully after this whole thing is over, we meet up on the bandstand.
I hope so. That'll be great. That'll be a pleasure. An honor.
And first thing, bass solo.
I'm gonna get my chops together then so I can do that, so I can handle it. I don't want you looking back at me like, what is he doing? I'm gonna get myself together.
All right, but good talking to you.
All right, thank you so much, man. Thanks.
Likewise, thank you.
We'll see you next week